The Secret Lives of Bob and Dave. Welcome. Test your memory with this short story of Bob and Dave's secrets. Listen carefully, because at the end you can take the quiz to see how much you can remember. The Secret Lives of Bob and Dave. Every Wednesday evening, like clockwork, Bob and Dave met at the King's Arms, their local pub. It had been their tradition for years, same table, same drinks, same routine of reminiscing about their days working together at the old factory. Another week gone by, Bob said, easing himself onto the familiar wooden bench. Dave nodded, taking a sip of his pint. Feels like only yesterday we were sweating over conveyor belts and dodging the foreman. They chuckled, sharing that knowing look only lifelong friends could. For years, they had prided themselves on knowing everything about each other. Bob knew Dave once fell asleep in a storage crate and almost got shipped off to Manchester. Dave knew Bob once accidentally glued his own shoes to the factory floor during a maintenance job. No surprises, no secrets. Or so they thought. Bob shifted in his seat, suddenly looking uncharacteristically serious. "You know, I've been keeping something from you." Dave raised an eyebrow. "Go on then, what have you done? Stolen my last Rolo?" Bob chuckled, but then took a deep breath. No, it's bigger than that. You remember back in the 80s, when I used to leave early on Fridays?" Dave frowned, thinking back. "Yeah, you always had some excuse, urgent business, you'd say. I assumed you just wanted to beat the queue at the Chippy." Bob smirked. "Well, not exactly. The truth is, I was moonlighting as a magician." Baffling Bob, the master of mystery. Dave nearly choked on his beer. "You? A magician? You struggled to shuffle a deck of cards." Bob grinned. "I was terrible at it at first. Dropped more coins than I made disappear. But I kept at it. I had a cape, a wand, the lot. Did weddings, birthday parties, even performed at the mayor's gala once." Dave was now laughing so hard he had to put his pint down. "The mayor's gala? You expect me to believe that? What did you do, make the budget deficit disappear?" Bob chuckled. "Almost. But no, I stuck to classic tricks, vanishing coins, rope tricks, card illusions, though I could never get that rabbit out of a hat trick right. That little sod kept escaping before the trick was done." Dave wiped his eyes. "I can't believe this. All these years, and you never told me." Bob shrugged. "Didn't want the lads at work taking the mickey. Plus, I liked having a little mystery about me." Dave smirked. "Mystery, my ass. The only mystery here is how you kept that cape a secret." Bob leaned in. "Now, come on, your turn. You must have a secret too." Dave took a slow sip of his beer, suddenly looking mischievous. "I do. And it's bigger than yours." Bob's eyes widened. "Go on then, out with it." Dave leaned back and smirked. "Remember those Fridays when you snuck off early?" Bob nodded. Dave grinned. "Well, I wasn't at work either." Bob frowned. "What do you mean? You had a second job?" Dave burst out laughing. "Not exactly. I was in the audience, watching. Baffling Bob perform." Bob's jaw dropped. "You what? You knew?" Dave nodded, laughing uncontrollably. "Not just once, every time you performed at the Dog and Duck, I was there? Pint in hand, watching you make a mess of magic." Bob groaned, shaking his head in disbelief. "You're kidding me. All this time, I thought I was being discreet." "You were about as discreet as a marching band," Dave teased. "I remember your vanishing silk trick, except the silk got caught in your sleeve and just dangled there for the whole audience to see." Bob covered his face. "Don't remind me." Dave was now in hysterics. "And the best one, the floating table trick. You tried to make it levitate, but one of the strings snapped and smacked old Mrs. Jenkins in the eye." Bob groaned. "I had nightmares about that one." The two of them sat there, laughing so hard that a few other patrons glanced over. Bob shook his head. "You sneaky old devil. And you never told me." Dave shrugged. "Didn't want to ruin the magic. Plus, it was the best entertainment I'd had in years." They clinked their glasses together, still chuckling. "Well, here's to secrets," Bob said. "And to old friends," Dave added. As they finished their drinks and got up to leave, Bob smirked. You know, I still remember a few card tricks. Fancy a little magic show back at yours? Dave grinned. Only if you promise not to hit me in the eye with a flying table. They left the pub still laughing, knowing that no matter how many years passed, they'd always have stories to tell and secrets to reveal. Now you have listened to the story. Pause a while to let it sink in. Then take the memory quiz. Good luck. Final score breakdown. 0 to 4 correct. Try listening again. 5 to 8 correct. Impressive. 9 to 12 excellent. Comment your score below, and tell us how you got on. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more quizzes. Thank you for staying to the end.